Okay, guys, now let's start. When we talk about inducement, inducement simply means a trap. Like, what do we mean by trap? Inducement, like inducement trap traders. Inducement trap traders. Inducement simply trap traders. It is to trap traders, like to trap people and make them lose money. So that is the meaning of inducement. So when we talk about inducement, inducement simply means a trap. So that is the meaning of inducement. So how does inducement work in forex market? Now we need to talk on how inducement works in forex market. You see, and how do I use inducement? Now, inducement works in forex market like it is going to like tell people to buy at a certain stage, but the market is still coming back or coming up to clear that certain level people bought from or sell from. So that is just the meaning. That is how it works. Now I'm going to give you a diagram on how I use inducement and where I look for my inducement, because that is very important. Knowing the meaning of inducement is a different thing, but knowing how to like look for your inducement in the chart is another thing. Now let me show you a diagram on how inducements work. Now firstly, I look for inducements after my break of structure or market structure shift. Let me type it out. I look for let me use DBOS because I believe everyone here is advanced. So I'm going to use the word double break of structure. I look for inducement after a market structure shift or double break of structure. So that is how I use inducement. Now let me show you guys this diagram. If you are having a low, high, or let's call it, I know everyone is advanced here, but I will still give it like a detailed example. High, low, higher low, higher low. Then the market is unable to create a new higher high. Then this market gave you like a market structure shift to the opposite side, which is changing from uptrend to downtrend. Then you see, the moment this candle close below this low, then any retracement you see at that moment, it is your inducement. Any retracement or pullback, anything you can call it, any retracement you see, it is your inducement. That is your inducement. Now let's stop here. Since we have something like this, the moment this candle closed below this low now, you see, this low now should have been a protected low, but the market was unable to protect this low. Then it break below. Then this is called market structure shift. The moment this candle closed below now, then the next candle, it can be a single candle and it can be a multiple candle. It can be multiple candles or single candle. So pay attention to how multiple candle works or how single candle works. And I'm still going to show you examples on the chart. The moment this candle closed below now, it is called your market structure shift. Then you look for the your pullback, your valid pullback after this candle is closed. Then where is your pullback? If you have something like this, let me give you an example. If you have something like this and the market is currently somewhere here, now where is your pullback after this candle closed? This is your pullback here. Then this pullback, it mitigated your breaker block. But before we go to this our point of interest, now let me just explain for people that is still having problem with the inducement. Now let me start again in a very fast way. Inducement is a trap. It's the pullback or retracement after market structure shift or break of structure or double break of structure. I look for inducement after a market structure shift or double break of structure. Now we have a high, low, higher low, higher high. Then the market is unable to create a new higher low. Then it did what? Created a low. Then the moment this market created a low, then closed below this low now, then closed below this last low, this last higher low, then this one now is called our market structure shift. Then after this market close, look for your pullback. Look for your pullback. The moment that market structure close, look for your pullback. Now, where is your pullback? This is your pullback. Now, this is going to be your inducement. Now, how do I apply this inducement to my strategy? You see, when I can find my inducement, then the rule says, the rules about point of interest says, use an unmitigated POI. This is how I apply it. Once this inducement mitigate this my breaker block, my next entry is going to be my order block. My next entry is going to be my order block, because this inducement now have like mitigated this breaker block. And you see how inducement work as a trap is that most traders that trade resistant or support, stuff like that, they might think this is their support level. Some might think this is their support level, or the moment this candle close now, they might think the market doesn't have any chance to come to this side again, to sell from this side. So this is how inducement trap traders, and this is how I apply it to my strategy. Now, what do I look for next? I use my second point of interest, which is my order block, to keep on shorting this market. Now, where is my inducement? This is my inducement. Let me just mark it out. This is my inducement, and this is my market structure shift. So this is an example of like market structure shift. This is an example of market structure shift. Now let me give you an example like of an uptrend. If you are having something like this, high, low, then this market gave us a new high. This market gave us a new high. But before that high, let me give you an example of double break of structure. Since we are advanced, so people can just catch up. They won't be looking for break of structure again. That is why I'm giving examples of double break of structure. So you can always remember that we look for double break of structure for our continuation pattern. Don't get this wrong. We look for double break of structure for our continuation pattern. Now, this is our continuation pattern. This is an uptrend. Then the moment this market close above this double break of structure, the moment this market close above this break of structure and break of structure, this is one, this is two. Then what do we look for next? We look for our valid pullback. We look for our valid pullback. Then our pullback can be something like this. The pullback. And number one, guys, before looking for your inducement, take note, the pullback must at least be 50%. The retracement must at least 50%, must be 50%. You see this retracement you are expecting from here to your pullback. After this candle close down, the retracement must at least be 50%. And you see this continuation you are looking for here. The continuation must at least 50%. So we are sharing the same rules for our inducement and for our continuation. And you know why I'm saying this 50%? Because some people might have something like this. Some people might have something like this as their, now they will say this is their inducement. And if this market is coming now, they might just buy. Let me make it more shorter. Now they might just say they want to buy from this breaker block, which is not valid. This inducement, this pullback now must at least be 50%. This other one too must at least be 50%. Put that in mind. Please take note of it. Now this is valid. Now, okay, now let's just label it. So for people that are going to watch this video later, invalid. This is invalid inducement because this is not up to 50%. Now let's draw a valid inducement. Now, guys, this is a valid inducement. Let me mark it out. This is a valid inducement. And guys, take note of this. You know why I'm not letting this inducement? Because some people are going to ask me, must this inducement, must it break this structure? Yes or no? It's not a must. It can and it might not. Any of it. It can just give you maybe a double top before pulling back. but the rule says it must be 50% at the pullback and 50% at the continuation. So guys, that is just the rule. And for it to break this structure or not breaking this structure, it doesn't mean. So let me just put it halfway, so people no go get am wrong. Let me just put it halfway. Now this is a valid inducement. Let me mark it out. Now this is a valid inducement, guys. And these rules I'm giving you, write it down. These rules, you might not hear these rules from me again, but it will be on my YouTube. Guys, write it down. I'm giving you everything I can. This is new year. You should see a changes in your life. So write this thing down. This is how I look for trade, and this is how I take my entry. And I'm going to show you an example of how I take this kind of entry. Now let's mark this our inducement. Why it is invalid? Now guys, this is an invalid inducement. Why? Because this inducement is not up to 50%. See, there are some cases that this market will give you something like this, and it is going to buy. You see, if you discipline yourself, even though you know that okay, this market might buy, if you are not even using the secret inducement method, maybe see, if you watch the YouTube video, then you are going to understand that one. If you are not using the secret inducement method, but you are using an entry like this, guys, you are still making mistake. Forex is not about making money a single day. It is about making money consistently, like being profitable consistently, like being profitable in a closed above this high. Now what is your next step? Look for your inducement. Now the moment this market close, now where is your inducement? This is your inducement. Now you can see. Now guys, let me give you an example before I forget this thing. This is very important. Once you see something like this, this is not a valid inducement. You can see this does not have any wick. This does not have any wick. This is not a valid inducement. You can use one single candle and you can use multiple candles. Now if you count this candle, this is multiple candles. Now we are going to go for like an example of like single candles. This is multiple candles example. Now after seeing my inducement, then I did what? Mark my nearest point of interest, my nearest zone to take my buy. So this is the buy. This is how I approach the trade. Now let's look for for single candle example. Let's look for single candle example. Now guys, this is a continuation pattern. Now let me explain this one again. Okay, this market is a downtrend. Let me show you guys very well. This market was giving us highs, lows, because normal overall for gold, the overall bias is bullish. But since this market was giving me downtrend at this moment, now I have to respect this downtrend and the overall bias. But guys, do not counter trade unless you know what you are doing. Guys, if you are not a professional trader, do not counter trend. I always warn you guys on this channel that before you counter trend, we take unexpected losses when you counter trend, because the market can decide to move, like to just move at any time on its main direction. So I will just advise you, do not counter trend unless you get to a certain stage. Like, okay, now you know what you are doing. So that's different. So now focus on this one. Now when the market gave us this market structure shift, you can see this is a single candle inducement. This other block, now this is a single candle inducement. This other block, I'm still going to explain this pattern and this pattern. Now we have two plans. See guys, I call something minor inducement, I call some inducement major inducement. I didn't mean I wanted to enter this trade at this point. This will be my minor inducement. You see this inducement, this other breaker block now is valid. This breaker block, if you know how to mark out your breaker block, since you have 1, 2, 3 candles, you are going to mark the full body candle of this middle candle. So you can see this breaker block is valid. For people where they trade 1:2, 1:3, but you know, say we know they do that one for a year. So after we don't confirm, this is a minor inducement. And this is a major inducement. Let me tell you why this is minor. After this close now, after the market gave you this inducement and bought from this breaker block, you can see the market respected it and came to this zone, then came back, then use this as the major inducement. That is why you need to pay attention on the time frame you are dealing with. I always tell you that time frame matters. Time frame matters. The way we have minor structure, we have minor inducement. The way we have major structure, we have major inducement. Time frame matters. Once you are if you want to tackle 4-hour time frame, then tackle it with higher time frame. You don't want to tackle 4-hour time frame and you are going to use this as your inducement. How this market, is this enough to push the market? No, this is not enough to push the market to get to this stage. But when this market cleared this inducement now, it was enough. The market came back to this other block. It was enough to clear this market, to clear this high. You see this high that formed here. It was enough to clear this high. Then now let's go for our continuation pattern. After the market rejected from that other block now, then the market break this structure and break this structure. Then now, where is your valid pullback? I told you guys, for people that are here to watch this video and for people that are watching video, do not pay attention to weeks. We don't count weeks. We don't use weeks here. Now, after the market closed above this high and closed above this high, giving us our valid double break of structure. Where is your valid inducement? This is your valid inducement. Now, after this inducement this inducement now mitigates this breaker block. Now, where is our next entry? Our next entry is our second breaker block. Now, this inducement mitigates this breaker block, then gave us a continuation to the opposite side. Then the market came back, then trigger this unmitigated breaker block to buy. So that is an explanation of inducement. If you go on your chart, if you go do rubbish, I go find you come out. Make I open comment section. If you go on your chart, now we have two plans. See guys, I call something minor inducement. I call some inducement, major inducement. I didn't mean I wanted to enter this trade at this point. This will be my minor inducement. You see this inducement. This other breaker block now is valid. This breaker block, if you know how to mark out your breaker block, since you have 1, 2, 3 candles, you are going to mark the full body candle of this middle candle. So you can see this breaker block is valid. For people where they trade 1:2, 1:3, but we know they do that one for a year. So after we don't confirm, this is a minor inducement. And this is a major inducement. Let me tell you why this is minor. After this close now, after the market gave you this inducement and bought from this breaker block, you can see the market respected it and came to this zone, then came back, then use this as the major inducement. That is why you need to pay attention on the time frame you are dealing with. I always tell you guys, time frame matters. The way we have minor structure, we have minor inducement. The way we have major structure, we have major inducement. Time frame matters. Once you are if you want to tackle 4-hour time frame, then tackle it with higher time frame. You don't want to tackle 4-hour time frame and you are going to use this as your inducement. How this market, is this enough to push the market? No, this is not enough to push the market to get to this stage. But when this market cleared this inducement now, it was enough. The market came back to this other block. It was enough to clear this market, to clear this high. You see this high that formed here. It was enough to clear this high. Then now let's go for our continuation pattern. After the market rejected from that other block now, then the market break this structure and break this structure. Then now, where is your valid pullback? I told you guys, for people that are here to watch this video and for people that are watching video, do not pay attention to weeks. We don't count weeks. We don't use weeks here. Now, after the market closed above this high and closed above this high, giving us our valid double break of structure. Where is your valid inducement? This is your valid inducement. Now, after this inducement,